Hey, everybody. I'm Reverend Charlotte McGinnis. And as always, I want to thank you for taking the time to join me here today for my Sunday Soulful Conversation. Hope y'all are having a great week. And for those of you who are in a place where you can enjoy the beautiful blessings of fall, I hope you're enjoying them as much as we are. It's absolutely gorgeous up here in Western North Carolina, and people are coming from all over to see our bounty of beauty and wants me to stay closer to home. It's a little crowded out there, but I'm glad people are enjoying it. So anyway, it's been a terrific week. Sorry about last week. Excuse me. I just felt like taking the day off, and that I do appreciate everyone reaching out. Are you okay? And this and that. I do appreciate that very much. That means we've made a connection and people care, and thank you for that. And actually, excuse me, everything is fine and dandy. Just felt like I didn't have anything to say last week, and I want to use that as a point of discussion today, because I think it's so important right now that we recognize how much that we're on that hamster wheel and just chasing everything that seems to be coming at us. And we put too many obligations in our lives and in our minds and expectations of ourselves that sometimes are good, and often good actually, but also can often maybe not serve our highest good. So how can you distinguish between what is mine to do and what's not mine to do? One thing, I've got allergies, excuse me, all these leaves. I've been out blowing leaves this week, and just, well, anyway, it is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it, but excuse me for my little clearing of my throat. But back to the conversation, what is mine to do and what's not mine to do? And also, as I mentioned a minute ago, we are in such a cycle of doing, and I'll definitely speak to myself on that one, rather than being. So we need to be more in a state of being and awareness and connection, rather than chasing life. Just here, we need to be more. I was speaking to a friend yesterday, and we were talking about, we're both feeling this tug. It's kind of like we recognize how we've sort of got sucked in, and this isn't meaning in a negative way, but just sort of we were doing this and doing that, and feeling obligations from this and that, and it was no longer a fun or a peaceful endeavor, but rather a stressful one. And I believe, if you all have been tuned into me for a while now, that we are in a time of great transformation, personal evolution, planetary shift, and also known as the Great Awakening. And so when we're in this, since we're in this, which I know it, I truly know that we are in my heart and soul, what can we do to assist this process so that we ascend in the greatest degree of peace and love for ourselves, each other, and the world? So let's talk about that. But before we go there, it's been a great week. Our dear friend Carolyn's been here visiting, and she's up from Florida. Her granddaughter got married on Thursday. It was a beautiful celebration in Asheville, and we're grateful to be a part of it and grateful to have Carolyn here. So congratulations to their entire family, and many blessings on their future life together, Peyton and Lillian. Also, I had a great surprise yesterday. My cousin Laura from West Virginia, for 40 years ago, we haven't seen each other in 40 years, was passing through, spent the night in Flat Rock on her way home to Lexington from Hilton Head. We got together. It was like we never missed a beat. And to me, that's so fun, we don't have to, and a good reminder that even though our bodies may not be in communion and face to face, that we are always connected in spirit. So there's no distance, in our connection ever, heart to heart with anybody. And that doesn't just stand for people in the physical world, this three-dimensional world, but those who have passed on to another life or dimension, made their transition. So that connection is always available. So anyway, it's been a fun, festivity-filled week, and it's good. And we have another great party tonight with our neighbors. So it's time to let go and have some fun. I do want to, a gal that I met early on my golf path as a professional. Gosh, I met her probably over 40 years ago in Florida, Lynn Stellman. We were very good friends years ago. We sort of lost touch in the recent years, but she made her transition this week after a long, brave battle with cancer. So I want to just send her family and friends my condolences and blessings and peace. So Lynn, you are an awesome soul here on earth, and I'm sure you'll bless all those you connect with in heaven as well. And Lynn is still with us, by the way. Everyone is, and that's a good thing. So doing rather than being. What's mine to do? What's not mine to do? Well, I think those that know me, I've always been those who knew me when I was younger would beg to differ with the Charlotte of late, meaning past 20, 30 years. But people say I'm a type A on steroids because I'm very a doer, and I'm a multitasker. And this is not to say, oh, isn't that great? It's just, it's insane, really. But anyway, but when I was younger, I was a pretty quiet sort and contemplative to a degree. And when I grew up, once I was introduced to golf by my father at age 7, that was it for me. That switch was flipped, and I knew at that point forward that was going to be a big part of my life. And I loved it. I was self-motivated. My parents supported me in that, but they didn't have a clue what to do. I just figured it out. Had a lot of angels along the way that led me to a really great experience to play in college and then have a professional career, both as a teaching pro and a playing professional. And it was when I look back at the blessings and gifts that golf brought into my life, if I hadn't had that, I can't imagine what my life would be. It would be a lot different. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is I'm a contemplator. I think about things and say, okay, when my life was in the flow and things seemed to be working with effortless accomplishment, how was I thinking? What was I doing, or what was going on there? And when I look at the golf and how the synchronicity and the blessings continue to unfold over the years in that, I realized all I was doing was just following my passion and my heart, and just putting such a vibe of anticipation, excitement, and love out there for what I was doing. The universe was just showering me back with my next step. So I didn't have to really think about anything at all. Yes, there were measures that I needed to take, but in the big picture was I just sort of followed the steps that were, each step in front of me, and they always led me to the next step. Well, I then had a really amazing experience back in the 80s with my transformation to become a minister and the ministry and all the things that have occurred in that. And the same sort of thing happened. When I look back, it was miraculous at really what unfolded in such a huge, fast way. And I've shared this story in the past, but it bears repeating because it indicates when we follow our heart, follow our passion, stay tuned in to that still small voice inside, and just be open, the universe will fall at our feet to support us. And I had a very amazing center in Florida, the Palm Beach Center for Living. And at that time, I had the blessing of connecting with Marianne Williamson. It was actually one of her centers. She had one in Los Angeles and one in Manhattan. Had the great pleasure of connecting with her. She was wonderful, supportive to a wonderful support to our center in Florida. We did a lot of great community outreach. We had before you know it, Deepak Chopra is coming in, Greg Braden, Wayne Dyer, Neil Walsh, all these my heroes were coming in, and we were presenting them to the world. So it was like, wow, how did this happen? How did I end up here? And then fast forward, we had the blessing of support by Donald Trump's wife at the time, Marla, who had a beautiful benefit for us at Mar-a-Lago. I could have never. So the reason I even bring this up is because these things would have never happened if my little thinking mind would have tried to figure it out or make it happen or even put it on a vision board or whatever. It literally was about letting go and letting God, as they say, and being guided each step of the way. So moving into this place of my life now, I've accomplished a lot of things, as many as all of you guys have as well. And now I feel as though, where do I go from here? What do we do from here? And I'm feeling that I want to be more still, more quiet, more present. I don't want to be creating events and working 12 hours a day and chasing this down and dealing with these issues and personalities and expenses and all these things. I just want to enjoy and love my life and be of service. So it really is, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, talking to my friend yesterday, Bonnie, many of y'all know her. This is a time that we really need to focus on our personal ascension. So that's the key. It's not about anymore looking outside. What's the next big thing I can make happen? And, where can I make $1 million or get a bigger house or the next big job or whatever? And not to say that some people aren't on that track and mode, and that's a point in your life that you may be in. But I think a lot of us, a lot of friends that tune in here, we're at a point in our lives where, yeah, we've accomplished, we've had great lives, and now it's just, we really want to tune in and go deeper. We want to focus on our personal ascension. Well, with that, we want to be more, not do more. And you know what the crazy thing is? When we are in a state of being, life is so much more glorious, grand, and easy. And I like easy. Soul contracts. Years ago, and you all probably are familiar with this. I'd say most people who tune into these talks have read a lot of the same books I have. And years ago, and I'm still a huge fan of hers, Carolyn Mace, a book that was really so powerful that she wrote and did seminars on, and it was called Soul Contracts. And it points out the fact that, and as many other spiritual practices and teachings also support and say, that there's really no mistakes as to the people that come into our life, because at some level we've made a contract to learn what we need to learn from that person or that situation. And so the Course in Miracles also says there's nothing by chance. Everything is there for our best interest. So when these huge lessons, these soul contracts come in, they are actually sometimes painful, difficult, but they are also there to teach us great lessons. And as I also say, you better learn the lesson that this is coming to teach you. Otherwise, you're gonna manifest the same contract with someone else. And I can prove that. I've got the ticket to show you that I've done that more than enough times, but I'm beginning to recognize it. So these soul contracts, once we can get past the judgment and just say, go away, I don't want this, and just say, okay, what is it I need to learn? And this person is actually playing this role to teach me a lesson in my spiritual ascension. Then you recognize, hey, not such a bad thing after all. Thank you for helping me on my ascension process, my spiritual journey. So we need to learn to recognize when a soul contract has expired or is about to expire, so we can let go as gracefully as possible. There's no need for hard feelings when a soul contract comes to close, but it can still be a painful process to navigate. So I do find that many of my big contracts of the past have gone down in flames. And it's me, and I know that I've had a role in that, looking back. And now I realize relationships, contracts can serve their purpose. And once that purpose is served and I've learned my lesson, I can let it go with, as this says, with ease and grace, as gracefully as possible. And we can thank that person for playing that perfect role. So everything in our lives, even though it doesn't feel or look like it at the time, is really here for our best interest, for sure. So the universe, I really believe that this time that we're in the midst of, which I talk to a lot of people, and I know you all do too, and I don't think anyone's on a carefree, easy path right now. Lots of challenges. It's like things are blowing up and being challenged and difficult. And that's part of the purification and the clearing process. But there's an easy way to do it. It's those two paths. It's about, do I choose the path of pain and suffering or the path of least resistance? And I think that spirit is always willing and wanting us to take that path of least resistance. And how do we do that? We have to make sure that we tune in and listen. Take the time to be more instead of doing. Take the time to be in joy. Really consciously choose things that lift your spirit. Surround yourself with people who are uplifting and fun and make you feel good, and be in nature. There are things we can do to enhance our vibe every moment without question. And I think the more we put ourselves as the sort of new language, we need to create an environment for our bodies to be healthy, for our relationships to be healthy, for our conditions and circumstances to be healthy. And to do that, there are things we can actually do. Like I just said, we can make choices that support our evolution in a more gentle way. And we can also recognize that we don't have to engage in the battle. It's really now about our personal ascension process. Just sort of cut the cord, bless that situation, and move on. Well, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee, and there's a story with this mug here. Well, besides my lipstick, you can see it says Charlotte. And my friend Jerry, for my birthday, gave me this, and I use it every day. I love the way it feels. It's a perfect size. Thank you, Jerry. And it makes my coffee taste good. And it's got my name on it in case I forget who I am. So anyway, moving forward, what we're really seeking, I think, to get into a state of non-duality, of peace, moving up the ascension ladder, is to live with a conscious contact with our higher self, with God, the Holy Spirit, our ascended masters, really living more from our hearts than our heads. There's a great quote, mantra from the Course in Miracles, which I live by. And if you just start your day with this, I think your day would go a lot smoother. Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? What I'm doing by making this 4-line statement is I'm inviting the Holy Spirit to guide my steps, my words, my actions, everything in my life. And I'm willing to let go of my agenda and open up to the surrender to really God's agenda. And it's always better than anything we could make up. We spend so much energy and time because we want it our way. And we think that we actually have a clue what our best interests are. I've come to know that that's not the truth at all. And really the blessings of the universe, when we live by the state of surrender, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? Wow, it's like, really? That's cool. I would have never thought of that. That's neat. And the universe just continues to bless us. And that's what I think living in a state of grace is about. And we do still, a lot of times I feel for myself, more in the past than now, that I've always, I want to serve, I want to do more, I want to do. But the real work, and don't get me wrong, I still believe in service, and I believe that our guidance will often lead us to be of service in some capacity, without a doubt. And so sometimes the guidance will be, go feed the hungry, make a donation here, pick up the phone and call a friend, reach out to this person who seems to be hurting. Whatever it is, we will be guided. But it's not out of a place of, I got to fix this. And it's really about a place of just guidance, and Spirit will always use us to where we can be most useful and helpful if we open up to that. And, my good buddy over my left shoulder here, Paramahansa Yogananda, everyone who comes into the house, by the way, first question they ask, this is, Carolyn asked when she got here, my cousin Laura got here, and seriously, everybody, Sandy, when she was here last week, next week, Bonnie's coming. This is a Airbnb for free. So anyway, but they, when they come in, they say, so where do you do your Sunday talks from? I said, and I'm sitting here, that behind me is the living room. The cat's usually going up and down the steps to her bowl, and there's Yogananda. So they're like, oh, okay, I can see that now. So I'm in the dining room, as if you're curious, sitting at the dining room table, and there's Yogananda. So back to what I was saying, a quote from Yogananda: solve all your problems through meditation. Attune yourself to the active inner guidance. The divine voice has the answer to every dilemma of life. Though man's ingenuity for getting himself into trouble appears to be endless, the infinite is no less resourceful. So yes, I love what he says here. Man's ingenuity for getting ourselves in trouble seems to be endless. Our divine voice always can lead us out of this. We just have to be willing to put aside our thoughts, our agendas about how we think things should be and how they should unfold, tune in and be guided. One thing that I love, and I've always been, I think what inspires me to do what I do is I'm guided. A friend of mine, Claudia, sent me a message, you need to read this. So I bought the book. I didn't even question it. It was like, okay, it's coming from her. She's cool. She said it for a reason. I bought it. I might talk about it next week. But that being said, that's the kind of guidance that, we all get. And I didn't question it. It was like, okay, it just felt right immediately. And the more we are willing to just sort of go by that, you see the universe is constantly sending us signs, and it'll get us out of our ego-made dilemmas. And I really see that there is so much support, and that there is a mutual common thread that flows through all teachings, philosophies, religions that unifies us. So I don't think that, I really believe that, what's that word, ominous? that there is truth in everything. And I seek to find that truth that is universal. And ultimately, this truth that we're seeking, sort of like what they used to say about the Tao, okay, Tao, the Tao, if you can describe the Tao, it's no longer the Tao. So we're all on a journey of awakening, journey beyond words, journey beyond religion. Yet religion, books, talks, things can be helpful to assist us on that journey. So the Holy Spirit will always lead us to that which serves my ascension or awakening process if I just tune in. Then we know, yep, this is mine to do. Nope, that's not mine. And interestingly enough, without going into any specifics, I've been very invested and engaged in a situation for years, 25 years. And it's been a rough and tumble, it's like great, not so great, challenging, good. But it was my call to service in a big way. And just recently, it's past few weeks, it's not mine to do anymore. And it's not about blame. There's no reasoning. Okay, I can't give you a reason. It's just kind of like, so I can't even muster, usually I could like pick it up and bulldoze back through. I can't even do that. And I find that, don't go there, Charlotte. Don't like force it. Okay. There's a message here. And so, and the message is sometimes we have to let go and just see where things land. So those are all, when these messages sometimes are subtle and sometimes they're like a bulldozer, but when they come, pay attention, because the Holy Spirit is always really tapping us on the shoulder, leading us down a more peaceful, joyful path. So we don't have to jump back into the hot water again, unless you want to. And then you get into that cycle of, oh, why is this happening again? Because you didn't listen the last 28 times I tried to tell you. That's why. So Rumi, we love Rumi, right? Persian poet. He says, I have been a seeker and I still am, but I have stopped asking the books and the stars and turned to the wisdom and tuned into the wisdom of my soul. And that's so important, Eventually, yes, books are great. And sometimes we're inspired to read one. And sometimes the stars do guide us. But we, instead of from the outside in, we tune into our heart, the guidance. Is this mine to do? And when we tune in, then the stars will shine more brightly when they need to. That book will fall off the shelf, or the message will come, and we'll know that that's mine to do, or not. You'll know, I could have read that too and said, not for me, but for some reason and I will explain it when I read it, because it actually is very timely and no mistake, as they say. So self-love is a big part of our awakening and our ascension process here on this journey. And when we love ourselves, we glow from the inside. We attract people who love, respect, and appreciate our energy. Everything starts with us and how we feel about ourselves. Start feeling worthy, valuable, and deserving of receiving the best life has to offer. Become a magnet. So what's this so-called journey of life about? It's really about self-love, all self-healing, and everything that's unhealed or unforgiven in myself is going to be projected from my projector onto the world or onto this big movie screen. And it's going to reflect back to me the love, and it's going to reflect back to me where I still need healing. Last week, I had and I do every week with these soulful conversations on Wednesday, heart to heart. These interviews have been amazing. Each one's been amazing and different, totally different. And Donna Menz was last week's guest, and we talked about this a lot. And I would invite you to go to my YouTube channel. youtube.com/inspire YOUTV and watch some of these. But the one I'm speaking of right now is Donna. She's a great therapist, brings in lots of tools and practices into her therapy. And she's definitely a therapist for people on a spiritual path. But we did talk into great detail about how the world is constantly reflecting back to us everything that is unhealed. But it's a call for love. It's not a negative thing. And I think we're all seeking this ascension, seeking to wake up from this dream of fear and to live more in joy and love. So everything like that is still within me, I'm projecting out into the world. So it's going to come back till I heal it. And I really believe that if we have a charge on anything, where it gets me triggered or mad or the need to defend or attack, that's my call for healing. It has nothing to do with them or the situation, nothing. Doesn't mean we have to agree or even like the situation, but the greatest healing we can bring to the world is, rather than respond or react and attack, is to just send love and know that our ascension collectively is we're all one in this. So who's triggering you? What's triggering you? Is it religion? Is it politics? Is it the stock market? Is it, where where is it your family? We all have those triggers. Yeah, I can go check. Not really, but I maybe. But anyway, we all can. I think we know where our triggers are. So truly, we're here to embrace and love everybody. Well, Joseph Campbell, another great, I would say he's a mystic. He was a seeker. He talks about, I read this morning, actually. He says Niche was the one who did the job for me. At a certain moment of his life, the idea came to him of what he called the love of your fate. Whatever your fate is, whatever the hell happens, you say, this is what I need. It may look like a wreck, but go at it as though it was an opportunity. And so when we look at it, if we bring love to that moment and not discouragement, we will find the great strength in that situation. So everything, especially these train wrecks that come into our life, is a opportunity for forgiveness, for healing, for us to take a higher response than we have in the past. So everything is a teaching device for bringing us home. That's what the Course in Miracles says. So I think when we come from that, really put you see me do this every week. When I ask a question, it's always, is this mine to do? Holy Spirit, show me your will, thy will, not my will. And sometimes I do really well with it, and sometimes I don't. And I can say when I don't, it doesn't feel very good. That's all I can say. But maybe you can have another thought about this. So in winding down, I would, of course, Thomas Merton, another great mystic, spiritual teacher who I've become interested in the past couple of years. He says, you do not need to know what precisely is happening or exactly where it is all going. What you need to do is to recognize the possibilities and challenges offered by the present moment and embrace them with courage, faith, and hope. So rather than freaking out with everything that's happening in the world, look at it as an opportunity for growth, ascension, awakening, and ask yourself, is this mine to do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say, and to whom? And when you do that, the universe is here to totally support and embrace us. But we have to be willing to let go of our will, our agenda, and tune in to something that is unknown. But I guarantee it's way better than anything we could always ever imagine. Okay, well, thank you all so much for tuning in today. Hope this helps. Is this mine to do? I'm not going to have the heart to hearts for a couple of weeks. I've got company and coming in this week and next week, and that's mine to do, is enjoying this beautiful these leaves. And I'm going to use this as a teaching moment. In the past, I would have barreled through it. I would have had that schedule packed, and I would have made sure and screwed up everything and been stressed. It's like, nope, taking the few weeks off, and I'm going to just go play in the leaves. So that might be something you all want to do. For those of you that have beautiful leaves, go play in the leaves. And you people in Florida, go play in the ocean. Wherever you are, take some time to play and have fun. And I will be here on Sunday mornings, unless Spirit has other plans. But see you next Sunday, and have a blessed, happy week, everybody. Namaste.